You know, I dream of a time, possibly not in my lifetime, but it would be good if it did come in my lifetime, when all of this allegedly supernatural phenomena is no longer seen as being supernatural, but is seen as being natural. When we as a species stop acting like tribal animals when it comes to matters of science. Because the people of various different schools of thought act politically to protect one particular school of thought above another, just like primitive apes fighting, in their various different tribes. Because that's all it is, basic animal behavior, which is irrational, illogical, and unscientific. It's not about the search for the truth. It's about which particular set of ideas can win above the others. And Dean Radin was right about one thing. There is a taboo against psi phenomena, which is really rather strange if you think about it. Let's say a scientist, a physical scientist, performed an experiment, and he had his laboratory full of measuring tools such as cathode ray oscilloscopes and meters and all manner of measuring implements. And he performs an experiment, a very complex experiment. And then, maybe 20 minutes into the experiment, at some key point, something happens. The indicator on the cathode ray oscilloscope goes haywire. The numbers on the dials and on the meters go skyrocketing above average. Something peculiar is happening. Images start appearing on a monitor somewhere that really shouldn't have appeared. Strange sounds come out of loudspeakers that shouldn't have come out of those loudspeakers. And then all of a sudden, silence. The scientists might actually choose to disregard each and every single movement on the dials and on the meters and on the cathode ray oscilloscope. Every single sound which came out of the loudspeakers, every single image which appeared on the monitor, for one singular reason: that it did not fulfill the scientist's hypothesis. It was difficult, shall we say, for that individual, for that scientist to be able to deal with. Maybe he knew that if that particular phenomena which had occurred when the dials went haywire, the sound came out of the speakers and the image appeared on the monitor, if other people knew he was associated with that, he could lose his job, his career, money, funding. No, he couldn't tell anyone, could he? So he was going to lie, adjust the figures, just to make it seem as though his particular hypothesis was accurate. Now you might think to yourself, what a wild thing to say. Scientists, they're objective, they're rational, they're logical, they're honest. Is that really the case? There's been a set of phenomena that's been going on for a long period of time throughout our history as humans. And yes, it is called by some people psi phenomena. I've experienced a lot of it myself. And to be honest, some of the things I've experienced were rather odd. Some of the things which appeared to happen seemingly by my own willpower, they were weird. Attempts to repeat the experiences didn't always provide either the same results or any results. So it was erratic, whatever it was, but that thing happened. An experience. And countless others. It would be wrong for me to assume that these experiences are limited purely to myself. It would be right to assume, it would be logical to assume, that these experiences happen to other people. Then why have they been disregarded by the physical sciences and by the scientists over such a long period of time? Just as in the example I gave earlier on in this video, this hypothetical scientist in his laboratory, strange phenomena occurred, but yet people have lied about it. and said it can't happen. Sure, there's always alternative explanations, but an explanation is just an explanation. Whereas I'm not interested in any explanations. I'm interested in the phenomena itself. How could we learn how to use it? What could we do with it to assist in the preservation of the species? To provide people with more in terms of physical security? To provide opportunities for some kind of self-healing to a certain degree? Or something of a therapeutic nature, or communication over distance? There's lots of things that this could be used for, if only we understood it. And yes, I do feel that the scientists who've tried to look at this phenomena have actually lied. There's countless records of people having strange experiences. And I guess all they've been able to do is to say openly and precisely what it is that has happened to them. That's it. And yes, to make matters worse, there have been an awful lot of hoaxes, and an awful lot of people who are trying to gain attention, or to gain money that essentially isn't rightfully theirs. And yes, of course, there's all of the strange religions which have cropped up over the years, and they make being associated with trying to honestly experience the strange phenomena very difficult. Because you become politically associated or affiliated with these individuals, it's almost as if you're guilty by association. You look at the phenomena, you want to try and get some answers. Someone else sees you're looking at the phenomena, and instead of assuming you're someone who's trying to objectively and rationally look at the phenomena, they assume you're part of the strange religion, or one of these wackos who is just after money which is not rightly yours. So what we could do, as we progress forward into the future, is to deal with the things which is holding back the research. Challenge the arguments which come out of the various strange religions. Challenge those who are being dishonest about what they do. I know full well through being on YouTube that fraudulent and dishonest behavior is not only present within the psychic world, so to speak, but also in the alternative energy world. How many people have seen videos entitled "Free Energy"? I made a solar panel recently. It wasn't free. I had to pay for the cells. I had to pay for the wood. I had to pay for the acrylic. I had to pay for the tapping wire. I had to pay for the solder. I had to pay for the electrodes. And there's lots more things I'll have to pay for to get that project completed, as well as the other panels I'll have to create and the money I'll have to get together to do all those things. That's not free energy, but people always advertise free energy, free energy, free energy. Just as some people advertise win the pools with numerology, often with one of the smallest, cheapest adverts in your publication. That speaks volumes, of course. So let's try. Let's just try and do this thing. Not for my benefit, and not for yours, but for all the rest of us. Just imagine what it would be like if, in a future society, there could be a number of people who gathered together, maybe a group of socially concerned individual, not necessarily funded by the state, but supported by their own desire to help out. Maybe they've already networked with some of the people who are in charge of maybe the Coast Guard system, for instance. Let's say during their meditation exercises and their remote viewing exercises, they detect some kind of disturbance on the West Coast. They try and narrow it down using whatever means they can to somewhere in the Bay Area. They don't want to be too precise, but they feel that there's something or someone who is in distress or will be in distress in the Bay Area within the next 24 hours. Maybe they could notify the Coast Guard and say, we can't be sure about this, but we just have this feeling that there's something happening there. And maybe the Coast Guard would say, yeah, okay, well, we'll take some of our existing manpower and we'll just reallocate a little of it so there's more people on the phones, on the lookout, and so on and so forth, and see whether anything's going to happen. Maybe they do reallocate those resources. And maybe your life is saved because of it. Maybe that individual who's struggling, possibly even drowning, sends back a signal, a psychic signal, delivered by their own fear, across the ether, to those people sitting in meditation, saying, "Help me now." That life could be saved. Another example, hypothetical of course. Let us say for the first time ever, a young man goes away from home, starts a new job, he's doing okay for himself, but then one day something happens and he gets ill, and on that same day there's a power cut. The phone lines are down, the internet's down, and he can't get word out to his family. Maybe he could learn just to send a little signal to say, "I need help," back to his family. But maybe they could put something into action to try and just see whether there's something up or not. Not to worry too much, but just to have a quick look-see. And maybe they'll do this and provide financial assistance or medical assistance to their son. It's a lot of human misery that could be reduced by using this communication technology. Another example, an example from my own life, is I have a history with digestive problems. And sometimes I can use meditation to ease the pain and to assist with digestive transit, because I practice to be able to do so. I can't override problems, but I can make myself that teeny bit healthier. Just through meditation and trying to do some muscular control and seeing how I can help my digestion that way. That's on a physical level, but still using the mind to influence the body. What if this was trained into people at an early age? Educated from primary and middle school, from year 1 to year 6 maybe, and it becomes part of the culture. Think how good that could be. And if there is another way in which the mind of the individual can affect the body's healing capacity, just to improve the immune system, or to help to repair a scar, maybe that would also reduce the quantity of money that would be needed for healthcare. Just a little. Just a little, not much, but just a little. So communication benefits, life-saving benefits, medical benefits, to a certain degree. There's no cures to diseases here. This could become a small part of the future. But to make this future happen, we've just got to carry on challenging ideas. Humans like to protect their religion, no matter what. But religion has become dominated by the desire to protect religion, rather than necessarily the desire to find out what is true or useful within any particular faith structure. Let's try and insert some science back into this. Try and work out what can be used, what can't be used, what some people get benefit from. Try and work out why they're looking for it. Objectively, calmly, dispassionately, and see where we can go from there. The phrase "magic works" is thoroughly inappropriate, as I've discussed before. But the phrase "strange things happen under some circumstances" is much more applicable. I believe in the possibility of this future. I believe the fact that we as a species have the capacity to change the way in which we look at the world. I believe that we as a species are capable of much more than we're doing at the moment. And I believe that people like you and like me could start working towards learning how to use and how to control this technology, which could be used to communicate over distances, possibly to save lives, and to ever so slightly improve human health. I believe this is a task working towards. But we can't do it if all we're going to do is sit on our backsides and try and defend different religious positions, because that can't help. Let's try and learn about these strange experiences, learn about how to try and bring them about, through meditation and other forms of mind-altering experiences, such as, yes, prayer, but using the ideas you use in religion merely as complex, mind-blowing suggestions, rather than necessarily an article of faith, and seeing what we can achieve. My name's Nick Dutch. These are my thoughts for today.